Now then, poverty, eh? It's often painted as this right complex problem with loads of different things contributing to it, from folks not having access to a proper education and decent job opportunities, to corruption and political instability. The causes seem endless, don't they? But lurking beneath the surface, there's this silent menace, a driving force that keeps this global crisis going, and that's land speculation. This thing, though often overlooked, has a deep and devastating impact on the lives of millions. This essay is going to delve into the intricate ways land speculation fuels poverty, examining its devastating impact on individuals and communities across the globe. From big cities to rural areas, land speculation doesn't discriminate, affecting everyone in its path. We're going to explore the mechanisms of this often ignored culprit, exposing the injustices it creates and the urgent need for change. Land speculation doesn't just bump up property prices, it uproots entire families, destroying communities and perpetuating inequality. The relentless pursuit of profit in the property market has created a system where land, a basic human need, mind you, is treated as a commodity to be bought, sold and hoarded for financial gain. This system doesn't give a second thought to the well-being of people, focusing solely on lining pockets. This speculative frenzy drives up land prices, putting decent, affordable housing out of reach for millions and trapping them in a cycle of poverty. Families are forced to live in cramped, unsafe housing, constantly at risk of being turfed out. It's time to shine a light on this widespread problem and demand a fairer, more just system for everyone. We need policies that regulate land speculation and promote access to affordable housing. It's the only way we can break the cycle of poverty and build a brighter future for all. The solution isn't simple, but it is possible. It requires governments, charities, and ordinary people working together. Together, we can create a system where land and housing are accessible to all, regardless of how much brass they have in their pockets. Ultimately, the fight against land speculation is a fight for social justice. It's a fight for the right to a decent gaff, for equal opportunities, and for a world where everyone can thrive. It's time to act and make a real difference. Land speculation, right? It operates on a simple but dead destructive principle. Buying up land, not for what it can be used for, but for its potential to shoot up in value over time. This practice isn't new, but its impact has intensified in recent decades due to more and more people moving to cities and the demand for places to live in urban areas. Investors, often with more money than they know what to do with, buy up huge swathes of land and sit on it until its market value skyrockets. This process can take years, during which the land remains unused or even empty, just waiting for the right moment to flog it off at a much higher price. This artificial inflation of land prices has a knock-on effect throughout the entire housing market. As land prices go up, so do construction costs, and ultimately the cost of houses. This cycle of speculation and price hikes creates a massive barrier for those trying to get on the property ladder. As the cost of land increases, property developers are forced to pass these costs on to buyers in the form of higher house prices. This doesn't just affect first-time buyers, but renters too, as landlords up the rent to compensate for the higher costs. This creates a right pickle where even modest homes become unaffordable for people on low and middle incomes. Families who could once manage to buy a house now find themselves struggling to find somewhere decent to live, leading to a housing crisis in many cities. Families are being driven out of their communities, forced to move to areas with fewer opportunities, further exacerbating existing inequalities. This displacement doesn't just affect individual families, it also impacts communities as urban areas empty out and lose their vibrancy. In response to this crisis, many communities have started to organize and demand fairer housing policies. Protests and community meetings have become commonplace, with people demanding solutions to tackle land speculation and promote affordable housing. The dream of owning a home, once a cornerstone of social progress, is slipping away for many. However, with greater awareness and collective action, there's hope that changes can be made to make housing more accessible for everyone. Some urban renewal projects and affordable housing developments are starting to emerge as potential solutions. These projects aim to not only provide affordable homes, but also breathe new life into communities and create spaces where people can thrive. At the end of the day, the fight against land speculation and the housing crisis is a battle for the future of our cities and communities. With concerted efforts and effective policies, we can create an environment where everyone has the chance to have a safe and affordable place to call home. Access to a safe and affordable home isn't a privilege, is it? It's a basic human right. However, this never-ending chase for profit through land speculation has turned this basic need into a luxury that few can afford. The consequences of this injustice are far-reaching and devastating, like, without a safe and secure place to live, people and families are denied the stability and security that are essential for a decent life. Kids growing up in overcrowded or inadequate housing face significant challenges, including health problems, educational disadvantages, and limited opportunities in life. The stress and uncertainty of housing insecurity take a toll on mental and physical well-being, perpetuating a cycle of poverty that's difficult to break free from. Right, Section 4, the price of inaction, real stories of displacement and despair. The human cost of land speculation isn't some abstract concept, you know. It's a harsh reality for millions worldwide. Every day, families are kicked out of their homes, forced to face an uncertain future full of challenges. From the sprawling slums of Mumbai, where thousands live in cramped and unsanitary conditions, to the tent cities of Los Angeles, where homelessness has become a humanitarian crisis, the consequences of this unchecked greed are impossible to ignore. Despair and hardship are palpable on every corner, in every face. Take Maria, a single mum of two working her socks off as a cleaner in an office block. Despite her best efforts, the wages she earns aren't enough to cover the sky-high rents in her city. Maria is forced to look for housing in a far-flung suburb where rents are cheaper but job opportunities are scarce. Forced to move to a distant suburb, she now spends hours each day commuting on public transport, leaving her with little time and energy for her kids. Every day is a constant struggle to balance work, home, and childcare. Sacrificing precious time with her children, Maria wonders how much longer she can keep this up. Struggling to make ends meet, Maria faces impossible choices: pay the rent or put food on the table, work extra hours or spend time with her children, or the plight of John, a retired teacher who dedicated his life to educating future generations. Now, living on a fixed income, John can't keep up with the rising property taxes in his neighborhood. Each tax increase pushes him closer to the brink of poverty. John finds himself at a crossroads, wondering how he'll be able to keep his home and his dignity in a society that seems to have forgotten him. These aren't isolated incidents. They're the human faces of a system rigged against the most vulnerable. Each story is a stark reminder of the urgent need for action and change. These are the faces of mothers, fathers, grandparents, and children who deserve a better lot in life. It's time we acknowledge their struggles and work together to build a fairer, more just future for all. Right, Section 5. Turning a blind eye. The sanitization and normalization of injustice. Perhaps the most insidious aspect of land speculation is how it's become just normal in society, like the media often portrays rising house prices as a sign of a booming economy, failing to acknowledge the underlying injustice fueling this trend. Politicians influenced by powerful property developers and their lobbyists prioritize policies that benefit wealthy investors over the needs of ordinary people. This normalization of land speculation creates a dangerous illusion of inevitability. People start accepting extortionate housing costs as an unfortunate but unavoidable reality without questioning the very systems and structures that perpetuate this inequality. The result is a society where basic human needs are sacrificed at the altar of profit, and the gap between the haves and the have-nots continues to widen.